Okay, so it's 8:05. Let's begin. I will share my screen and then we will do step by step the first half of SPSS workshop today. So if you've seen my slide, basically there are several things that I have divided the workshop into, mainly six learning points. And today I wanted to give an introduction on basic intros like how is the layout of SPSS look like, how do we do the opening, programming questionnaire inside and stuff, right? Yes, Wan Ying? Is there a Mac as in McDonald's or what? Okay, I understand what you mean. Yes, there is a MacBook version for SPSS, but that is in the IBM website. You can go to the IBM website and there is a trial version for MacBook. So you can try that one, but that's just a trial version. It's not the full version that you can use continuously. I will. You can get the download the trial version first, and then let me know how it works. I will check with my technician if we can provide a VPN for that as well, licensing for that. I'll let you know. Let me know, Wani. Contact me. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's begin. Yeah. Okay, Wan Ying, let's take it separately, all right? I want to do the class first. Maybe later we can discuss about this, right? But in IBM, when you go to IBM website, there is a version for window installer, and there is also a Mac installer. Okay, so let's start first. You can have this slide. This is the slide that I have uploaded in MMLS. Actually, if you download the slides in the MMLS, you will get a few different materials. You will get the data analysis practice. This is the zip file. If you unzip the zip file, you will get data analysis practice. You will get the questionnaire, which is very important. You will see that I will go through the questionnaire today and the workshop slides, which is these slides, which is what I'm going through. I will go through this slide step by step. And also the most important file is the SAV file. SAV is the extension for SPSS, right? So SPSS data files always will have the extension .sav. So remember that. Okay, so .sav is the file. Yes, you only will have 4 files. These are my files, so I will have additional. Okay, but students will have 4 files, which is the PowerPoint files in the PDF format, the questionnaire, and the practice, and the data file. Okay, of course I have extra because this is a zip file and this is the PowerPoint version, which is too big. So I have compressed it into PDF for students viewing. So you will have 4 files. Okay, so please open the PowerPoint slides and then you will see this PowerPoint here. So this is the introduction to SPSS software, specifically designed for marketing major students, but of course other students can also follow this. So I'm making this like a real life data analysis practice based on a real data was collected by a previous student from his FYP titled Factors Influencing E-commerce Adoption Among Consumers in the Middle East. So this is the real research that was really carried out. The data is real data, but I've modified some things from the questionnaire just to make it easier for us to learn together. Sakib, I can't do much. If it is lagging, probably you're far away. Yeah. I'm recording this entire session, so if it is lagging, try and view it later and let me know if it works. Okay, so in this SPSS practice, we will do a few things. We will go through 6 analyses that I will show with you, and the 6 analysis is according to these materials that you will see called the data analysis practice. Okay, so this is the SPSS data analysis practice. So basically in this workshop, I will be going through this practice with you, specifically 6 practice that we will do together. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for each of these practice, which is different analysis, the steps on how to do it is actually in the slides that we are following right now. Today, we will try to do at least 1 and 2. We will see how it goes, right? So this is the questionnaire that we'll be dealing with. So please open a set of this questionnaire as well. Okay, this is the example of questionnaire that we will use. And I will show you, once you have a questionnaire like this, how do you program this questionnaire into your SPSS? Right? How do you program this questionnaire first into SPSS before you enter the data inside? So this is what we're going to do today. Okay, so first thing first, once you have this, you have all these files. First thing is you will need to open SPSS. So as you know that this time is pretty unique because we are not doing this class in our lab as usual. Usually we will do this in the university lab, but since now we are doing it remotely, to open SPSS you need to have your VPN connection, right? So if you have already installed a VPN, you should be able to search for your VPN. You need to connect to the VPN first, according to the instruction that I've already given you. And ready to connect, once this shows, put there vpn.mmu.edu.my and connect. And you'll be connecting according to your own access. So if you are a student, then you have to choose MMU VPN student, and then your username, and then your password. Okay, so this is how it authenticates that you are accessing MMU intranet from outside. Okay, so it will tell you that you're already connected. So you need to be connected first before you can run the SPSS from your notebook. So if you already installed SPSS in your notebook, it will appear as IBM SPSS Statistics 27. Right, so you can run this, open this icon, as soon as you have already run the VPN. So it's a big program, so it does take a while to open up. So wait a while and it should work. Okay, so you will see that SPSN screen will open up like this, and it will also show this little window within the screen. The back one is the big screen, but this is the middle screen that will show you, do you want to open an existing recent file or you want to open a new data set? So today I want to show you how to create a new data set. For example, you already have a questionnaire and you want to insert your data. So you need to open what we call a new data set. So just select new data set and open. Okay, if you select new dataset and open, you will see that SPSS window at the back will open 2 files like this. One is the file that shows like this, where it has the file, all the menu as usual. And then at the bottom here, it will show you the data view and the variable view. Okay, so data view is where you insert your data later, after you collect your data. But the first thing you do is first program your questionnaire first. So when we insert our questions in this variable view, this is what we call basically programming the questionnaire into the variable view. All right, so this is something that we will do together, and you will see that SPSS always opens 2 windows. It will always have this output window. It's like a machine language here, right? It will show output log. Why this happens is because SPSS is a statistical software. So whenever we run anything, it will have a background window that shows what exactly is happening. So it's like a log file. So you don't have to close this, but you can just minimize this because this will be happening in the background for everything that you do in the SPSS software. So you can just minimize this. Okay. So first thing what they're going to do today is I'll minimize the slide first. I will open the questionnaire. Okay, and I will show you how we can insert the questions in this questionnaire into our new data sheet. Okay, so if you go down this questionnaire, you will see that you have section A. There are 7 demographic questions, and then there is section B and section C. Okay, so which is section B is all the IV. There is 3 IVs you can see: knowledge, risk perception, and trust. And then in the DV, you have adoption. So basically from the questionnaire, you can already imagine the research framework for this research. It has 3 IVs and a DV. Okay, but firstly, we will program the demographic questions first. Okay, each of these questions has to be inserted into SPSS before we can enter the data later. Okay, so let's look at that. So if you see the first question here, it says gender. Okay, first question is gender, Q1. So what I usually do is I will insert the questions according to the number. So in this case, this is Q1, gender. Q1 is gender. So this is what I'm going to do. I will go to my SPSS. Okay, under the variable view, I will go up there, and my first question, okay, my first question, I will put there as Q1, and I will go straight to label and put there, this is gender. Okay, you can see that everything else is automatically filled for you. Okay, everything else is automatically filled for you. The second thing that I will fill is the values. If you press the button values here, you will see a small button appearing on the right side. Okay, and if you click this button, it will ask you to insert values. So in this case, the questionnaire, in gender, we have 2 selections, male and female. So I can put there, for example, value 1 for male, and then add, and value 2 for female. Or it can be value 1 female and value 2 male, anything, all right? It's up to you how you want to insert the numbers, and then click OK. So what you have done now is that you have told SPSS that your first question in your questionnaire, Q1, is about gender, and people have a choice of answering 1 and 2. And whenever it is 1, it refers to male. Whenever it is 2, it refers to female. So that's what you have told SPSS to do. And this is numeric. We call this data numeric because you are giving them choice to put 1 or 2. So that's why it is numeric. And the decimal is 2. And so you will see here is 1.00. And so for male and female, you don't need the decimal. Actually, you don't need decimal. So you can just go here, click on the right side of this box and reduce the decimal to 0. The width depends, it explains how width will be, how many characters you can have. So it's okay to maintain it as 8. All right, and the measure is the one that we learned earlier in the chapters about nominal, ordinal, and scale. So gender, any categorical variable is considered nominal. So you need to select nominal. Okay, this is an input variable, so you will insert the variable inside. You will insert the data, so just leave it as input. This is standard. So you already inserted the first question now into the SPSS. If you go now to the data view, you will see that Q1 is already there. And so in data view, you will insert data as you get the respondents. So this 1 in data view is actually respondent 1. This is respondent 2. So if you have 10 people answer your questions, you will have 10 later filling up. So for each person, you will fill Q1, Q2, Q3, and so on all the way when you enter the data manually later. Okay, so variable 1, variable view has to be done first. You have to insert all the questions here before you can input the data. So I would like you to try this out on your own and let me know if you could do it and if it works or if you are facing any problems. Those of you who have SPSS already installed and you're trying this, because this is a workshop, so we should do this together. You should also be trying it out and feedback to me if you are able to insert this accordingly. So you can see that what I'm inserting here, the Q1, is actually based on the questionnaire. Okay, so I'm inserting the questionnaire. Q1 is gender, so I put the Q1 name here, Q1, and then the label is gender. Okay. So let me know if it works and if you can do it, or if there is any problem that you are facing. Is anyone trying, or nobody is trying? You're just wanting to view this and then try it on your own later. If nobody is trying and you just want to follow this lecture, thinking that done, is it working for you, Sakit? Okay, good. Celine, okay, it works, huh? All right, so that's great. So for those who are trying, good. I will give you time to do it. For those who are not trying, it's also not an issue. You just follow this lecture for now, and then when you are listening to this recording later, you can pause wherever you want and then try it with your SPSS. Okay, so good. So let's go to question 2 now. So since question 1 is gender, we have done the values as well. Question 2 is age. You can see question 2 is age. And it just says age, nothing. So I will put here question 2. Okay. And automatically it will create all this thing. I will put here question 2 is age. All right. And question 2 age, it will be input. Age don't have decimal, so I'll put 0 as well. It is numeric. And if you look at the questionnaire, it doesn't have any selection. So this questionnaire allows people to write down their age. Just put their numbers there. So it is an input of numbers. It's a numerical input. So in that case, we don't have to give any values. Okay, we don't have to give any values, but we know that age is actually a ratio variable. Okay, so here you can choose scale. All right, even if you choose ordinal, it's also okay. It's not wrong. Okay, so you are done. Basically for the second part, which is age. And it's also numeric. Okay, now let's do the third one. Q3. Q3 is nationality. So this is unique. I purposely allowed it this way so I can demonstrate to you what if you have a non-numerical data. So this is an example where people fill in their nationality. Okay, people fill in their nationality. And so if possible, you should give like nationality, give them a selection of ticking box. But if you're not giving them a selection to tick a box, then this nationality will become a string. Okay, will become a string. So how do we do this? Is you put that Q3 nationality and go to type and change the type to string. Okay, change the type to string because you're expecting people to put character. They're going to type, for example, Indonesia, Malaysia. So they're going to type words inside. So remember, SPSS is a quantitative software. It's not a qualitative software, analysis software. And so we should avoid this wherever possible. Okay, we should avoid inserting a string wherever possible. It's better to put there 1 Malaysia, 2 Singapore, 3 Indonesia, 4 Philippines, and so on, instead of asking them to type. Okay, because if you ask them to type, then later you have to recode it. So it's double work for you. So I want to purposely demonstrate this to you. That's why I show it here. So for state or a nationality, some country's name can be as long as 20 characters. So I want to put more characters here so you can insert even a long country's name, like New Zealand. Okay. So if you put 8, that means only Malaysia can go in 8. But if you have Philippines or longer name cannot go in, right? So that's string. So once you choose string, you can see that it automatically selects it to be nominal. Okay, string. So usually you should not have string. Most of your data should be numeric. Then it's easier for you to analyze. Okay, so so far so good. How many of you are trying and does it work until Q3? okay. So I hope that's fine. So then we go to good. Thanks, Celine. So we go now to Q4 then. So Q4 is income. Okay, so I will put here Q4 income. I put the label as income, and then it's numeric as well. I will remove the decimals because we are only going by 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here the values. What are the values for income that I have here? Is I have below 500, so I'll put the value 1. Whenever somebody says below 500, I can use symbol as well. Below 500 is 1. And number 2, 501 to 1000. So I put value label 2, 501 until, oops, sorry. Number 2 is 501 to 1000. Okay, I add. Okay, and number 3, 1001 to 1500. That will be value 3, 1001 to 1500. And so on. 4 is 1501 to 2000. And 5, category 5 is 2001 and above. Okay, something like that. So if you see the values here, all the values should be equal to all the values here. Okay, whatever values that you give them as a choice should be in your values here. So that when people, let's say respondent 3, answer number this one, tick this one. So you know the respondent number 3, you have to choose number 4. You have to put number 4 for this question because it's a letter category 4. So that's how it works. All right. So similarly, let's do question 5. So Q5 is education. So I just put the education. Decimal is 0 again. Sorry, let me see. There's a question. So anyway, for decimal to be auto to 0, yes, you can make all the decimals 0 by just copy and paste. So you don't have to make it 0 now. You just insert everything first. Later, you just copy the decimal, right click, and copy, and then paste everything to be 0. So you can do that. Huh? So education now. Let's do the education. So education, we have high school, bachelor's, master's, PhD, and others. So Q5. So 1 is high school. 2 is bachelor's. 3 is, what is 3? Master's, PhD, and others. 4 is PhD. 5 is others. So something like that, right? So now you have already inserted questions up to question 5. Okay, so the measure we have to change again. So income. Income measure can be nominal, can also be ordinal. Why is it ordinal? Why I consider income ordinal is because every category is bigger than the previous category. So it is like a ranking. Similar for education background. It's also ordinal because every category is bigger than the previous category. So you can choose ordinal. But even if you put nominal, it's also not wrong because each of it is a category. Okay, so we have 2 more questions to go for our demographic. So let's do that as well. Then we'll be done. Okay, so Q6. Q6 is internet usage rate. Okay, internet usage rate. So I'll just put the internet usage rate, and it is daily, several times by week, weekly, and so on. Right. So You already know how it works, so I'm not going to put in everything, but it's just, you know how to do it, right? You already can know, you understand, so you do it, right? And this is also ordinal in nature because every category is bigger than the previous category. And then similarly for Q7, okay, Q7 is average hours spent online per day. Okay, online, I just put there online per day, average hours, right? So here again, he has 1, 2, 3, 4 categories. One is below 1 hour and so on. So you can put in there. One is below 1 hour. Okay. So you can do the rest as well, 2, 3, and 4, right? So you know the drill, so I won't have to do it, but you know how it works. So again, it can be nominal or it can be ordinal, right? So there you have it. You have already now inserted all your demographic questions from 1 to 7. So if you go back now to your SPSS window and you can see variable view, you have already 7 questions here programmed. So if you go to your data view, you will see those 7 questions already appearing on top here. Okay, so whatever appears here actually is what you have programmed here. So in other words, whatever that you see vertical here is actually what is the one that is horizontal here. So if you have 10 questions in your questionnaire, in your variable view, you will have 10 rows, while in the data view, you will have 10 columns. So the columns in the data view corresponds to the row in the variable view. Okay, so that's basically how it works. So now, so basically, once you have this, you can start inserting your data. Okay, so let's say you have the first respondent. The first respondent who answered in your research happens to be a girl. So you see, this one, I put the questionnaire, I purposely do this just to wake you all up a bit. It doesn't mean that the questionnaire will have male first or female later. So in this case, if female here, that means female should be categorized as 1 and male is 2. Then easier for you to insert the data. So I'm going to change my data. Change 1 is female, 2 is male. So whenever I see the person tick here, I will put 1. If the person tick here, I will put 2. So I go back to my variable view and my gender. I will modify this. So I can just modify by clicking this 1 and then change this. 1 will be female. And then, but you can't change because it's the same name. And then 2, I will change it to male because this is according to my questionnaire is like that. So I have now female and male. Okay. So once your labeling is all correct, you can start inserting the data. So let's say your first respondent is female. Let's say your first respondent is female and the age is 25 and nationality is Malaysian. So I'll put there first respondent is female, age is 25, nationality is Malaysian. Okay. And let's say she says that her income is 2001 and below. We know that 2001 and below is category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is category 5. So here I will put 5. Okay. I hope you're following. And then let's say she says she has a bachelor's degree. So bachelor's degree is number 2, category 2. So here I will put category 2. Question 6. Let's say she said her internet usage rate is daily. Every day she uses the internet. So daily is 1. So I'll put here 1. And then Q7. Let's say she answers on average, she used 5 to 8 hours of internet. She's online for 5 to 8 hours a day. So that is 1, 2, 3, category 3. So here I will put category number 3. Okay, so that's example. So you will have, let's say, 200 or 300 respondents. So you will see that your data view will increase according to how many respondents you have. Okay, so once you have inserted the question in your section A, then you will go into the question in section B, your IV and DV. So I'll just show you, demonstrate one of it, so you know the rest are the same. Okay. So for example, variable view, let's say for knowledge. And you will see based on the questionnaire, you actually don't have knowledge, but you have knowledge, 5 statement on the knowledge. So what I will normally do is that if this is question 7, so I will consider this question 8. Okay, I will consider this question 8. Knowledge is 8, but since we don't have the knowledge, the value for knowledge, we only have value for the ones that people answer. So in this case, this is actually 8.1. I will call this 8.1. I will call this 8.2. I will call this 8.3. I will call this 8.4, and I will call this 8.5. Okay, similarly here, I will call this 9.1. So don't worry about 9 because there is no 9. There is no data for 9. You can see, risk perception has no data. We only have data for the items, which is 9.1. So 9.2, and so on. All right. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to do. I will give like this. So we know that 8 means all the 8 refers to knowledge. All the 9 refers to risk perception. So once you have done that, we can already go now back to our variable view. Okay. We can put 8.1 until 8.5. Okay. So this is Q8.1. This will be Q8.2. I put all them together, right? Q8.3, Q8.4, and Q8.5. So you can see all of them are together. Again, you don't want the decimal, so you can, like what Sakib said just now, you can actually copy and paste. I will leave it for now. Later I will change. And label. So labeling here, you can put the label of what it shows here if you want, right? So normally what I do is that I don't put the label of the entire question because it's long. You can only put the summary because you know what question this is. You don't actually need the entire label there, right? Even if you don't put the label at all, it's also okay because you know 8.1 refers to this, 8.2 refers to this. So if you don't want to put the label, you don't have to put. If you have time, you can copy and paste this into here, okay, into this label. So you have the data here. What's important that you want to key in is the values. So the values here is, you know, from this questionnaire, you have strongly agree, disagree, to strongly agree. And you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I only have to do this one time, but later I can copy and paste into all the other questions. So I'm going to call this 1 as strongly disagree. 2 is disagree. 3 is somewhat, or you can put 10 to disagree, because you can see that this doesn't have neutral. 4 is 10 to agree. 5 is agree. And 6 is strongly agree. Okay, so this doesn't have neutral. So that's why the 3 and 4, you can call the 3 10 to disagree, 4 10 to agree. Or you can even say 3 is somewhat disagree and 4 can be somewhat agree, right? So this is the value for this. And you know that these values are shared for all the IVs and DVs. All the IV and DV follow the same one. And so you just have to, you can just right click, copy, and you can paste this for all your IVs and DVs. Just select and then right click, paste. So you will save a lot of time. So this is the new version of SPSS. It allows right-click, copy and paste. Yeah. So those days SPSS primitive version, those days you can't right-click. Everything you have to do manually. So with this you save a lot of time. So here the measure will be, all the measure will be scale. Okay, all the measure will be scale because all are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all are scaled. So similar, even the measure also you can copy and paste. SPSS allows that. So you can see now, if you go to your data view, you can see that now you already have the Q1 for your data variable. IB1 is already there. Okay, so this is exactly what you will do for the rest of the questionnaire. Okay, until all these questions in the questionnaire are keyed in already into your SPSS. Same thing, everything is the same until your dependent variable as well. Okay, any questions up to now on how to insert the questionnaire into variable view? I think it's pretty straightforward. You just have to make sure that all the questions in your questionnaire are systematically inserted into your SPSS. Okay, so once you have inserted all the questions, then you can start answering your data. Okay, but now if you're collecting data from Google Doc, you already save a lot of time, because from the Google Doc you can actually copy and paste, because Google Doc will give you data in Excel. So once it is in Excel, you can copy and paste directly into your data view. Save a lot of time. Okay, but if you're collecting some of it manually, then this is how you would insert the data manually. Okay, are we good? Can I proceed? So what is the saving procedure? Very good question, Sakib. Okay, so when you save the data, it will be in .sav. So remember, the sample data that I gave you is .sav. So .sav is the format for SPSS data file. So this is your first time trying to save SPSS data. You can go to File, Save As, or you can just click this icon to save this document. So you can save as anything. You can save SPSS workshop, trial data, or you can give your name to it. It will automatically choose .sav. Okay, .sav. So you can just click save. Okay, so the data is already saved. Once it is saved, you can see the name of the data appearing on top. Okay, so it's called .sav. So for the sake of this research, what I have done is that I'm already giving you the data for this research, which is already inserted for you. Right? So to open the data, you can just go to File, open the data, and then open the data from your folder, from this folder. Right? From this folder, you can see e-commerce adoption in Middle East, mrclass.sav. Okay, you may not see the SAV, but you will see the icon. Okay, depending on your folder setting. If your folder is set to hide extension, you will not see the .sav. Okay, but you will see the icon if you have SPSS. So open this file, EC adoption in Middle East, open, and then you will get the data. I will close the old one. Okay, and you will get this data. So can you open this data? Once you have this data, this is the data that I'm working with for this analysis. You can see how I've inserted the data, and I've also done some other formatting just to show you there are different ways of saving column names as well. Yes, yes, all the data was manually inserted. All this data I manually inserted. Yes. Repeat what as well? Repeat the opening of this file, or how to open. Okay, go to folder. Okay, open document, and then search for the file that I have sent to you, which is this file. Can you see this file from the zip file that I gave you all from the MMLS? From here. Okay, so in MMLS, you have this SPSS workshop zip file. If you unzip this file, you will find this data file called EC adoption in Middle East. So this is the file that you will open. And once you open that file, you will get this data. Are you following? Can you get it, Zua? So Sakib, yes, all this data was manually. You can't do it. So why are you so happy when you cannot do it? Yes, please try again. Or you can actually, Zua, if you have already installed SPSS in your PC, then open your SPSS. The type of the file is already recognized as SPSS statistics, so it will automatically open in SPSS. Yes, you don't have to merge. You can copy the Google Form data and paste it in the data view. Okay, so once you have the Google Form data, because Google Form raw data will show in Excel. So you can just copy the Excel and paste in the data view. So I can show you, for example, let's say you have an Excel file. So let's say you have some data here, some numbers. Let's say just some numbers here. Okay, let's say some data, some numbers you have. So you can just copy the data from your Excel, copy, and then paste into. So let's say you have a new data set you want to create. So whatever you get from your Google data set, you go to data view. Of course, first you have to do the variable view first. All the questions already inserted. Then the data you just copy and paste. Just right click and paste. Control V, Control C, Control V. Then all the data already open automatically here. So you save a lot of time when you copy the data from Google Doc to SPSS. Okay. Yeah, Zula, are you all right? I hope you try that again, but I want to proceed first. Once you open this data, you can see that you can go to the variable view. You can see that I have inserted all these questions 1 to 7, and their labels are also here. And you can see that the age, we have now categorized their age. Okay, so I have categorized their age according to their feedback, because once I got 300 samples, I noticed that most of them are in these categories of age, 22 to 32. So I have given one number to each of these years, right? So that's why the age is like that. And even nationality, if you remember nationality just now, we inserted a string, but once the research was completed, this was the countries that participated in this research. So I have categorized them according to 1 is Kuwait, 2 Saudi Arabia, and so on until 6 is others. Okay, so this was done after the data was collected. Okay. So, and you can see the knowledge. I told you just now you can do 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. But when we were inserting the data, we can also have option to insert like this. So here I'm showing you another example. So in this example, instead of putting 8.1, I put then no 1, no 2, knowledge 3, and so on. So what is the meaning? The meaning is actually from the questionnaire. So no 1 is actually knowledge 1. No 2 is knowledge 2. No 3 is knowledge 3, because this IV refers to knowledge, and so on. Because it is up to you to understand, because you are the researcher, you use a form, a name that you will know what this means. Okay, and similarly, risk perception, I put there risk 1, risk 2, risk 3, risk 4, risk 5. So you know that these are the 5 things that's coming from here. And then I have trust, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then finally, adoption, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So here you can see trust, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And adoption, I see I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, all the values are the same. Okay, as long as you know which question refers to which item in the questionnaire. Okay, so variable view has to be done first. Okay, possibly variable 1 done first. Unless you're an expert, you can do data view first. But I recommend to students who start with SPSS, do the variable view first, and then you copy and paste your data into the data view. So once you see the data view, you can see all the data in the data view. So in this research, if you go to the data view, and you know that each of these row in the data view refers to one respondent. Okay, each row refers to one respondent. Each row refers to one respondent. And so if you scroll down your data view, you will know how many respondents participated in your research. So in this case, you can see we have a total of 300 respondents. 300 respondents participated in this research. How do we know that? Based on the rows in the data view. Okay, so far so good. Anybody have any concerns, any questions? For now, are we on the same page? Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but you're a little choppy from time to time. I think the lagging is because of VPN. Because not like our usual class. Our usual class, I'm not opening the VPN. So what is happening now is that the SPSS is running in my PC while I have the VPN connected to the university. And so there are few connections happening at the same time while you are streaming into me, to my PC. So I think it all makes it laggy. But no worries, since it is being recorded, try to view this recording afterwards and it should be seamless. Okay, and importantly, you have the slides, and then if you follow my slides, you will be able to do the analysis step by step as well from the slides. Okay, so let me continue with the slides. We already learned now how to open. We have also learned how to insert questionnaire. It will not work without VPN or internet, because remember that this software, it's a licensed software which is belongs to, the license belongs to MMU. And so for us, usually, if we need to use this software, we have to go to the university, to the lab. We can only use it in the lab. But because now we are not in the university, we managed to find a way to access it. So that's why it has to have the VPN. Because the VPN is virtual private network. It means your PC thinks that you are actually, your laptop thinks that you're actually in the intranet of the university. So yes, it doesn't work without the VPN. Okay, so we have done this variable view and data view. And so you know how you will insert the questionnaire into SPSS. Okay, so now I want to go straight into analyzing the first thing. Okay, so now you already have the data. I want to show you how to do some basic analysis in your data according to descriptive statistics. So for example, you have already keyed in all your data here. All the respondents are already here. Okay, all the data is already inserted. From these 300 respondents, let's say you want to know how many of them are male and how many of them are female. How do you want to do that? So that is the first practice from the SPSS data analysis. Okay, the first practice is known as descriptive statistics. Okay, descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics is when you try to find out the frequency, histogram tables, chart, and so on. So we will do descriptive statistics for all the demographic information, which means questions in section A. So let's try. How you can do this? Just follow my slide. You can see in the slide, we go to Analyze, select the menu Analyze, and select Descriptive Statistics, and choose Frequency. Okay, and you will get this table called, a small window called Frequency. So let me show you. Go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and choose Frequency. What I want to do now is I want to find out how many of my respondents are male and female. So from here, just now, what I did was I selected the first label, which is the gender, Q1. Just click here one time and then click this arrow. It is now selected. Once it is selected, it's pretty standard. You can go to statistics and choose anything. But since this one, you just want to know how many frequency, you don't have to choose any statistics. But if you want a chart, let's say you want a simple bar chart to just see how many male, how many female, you can choose bar chart, frequency, continue, and just click OK. So you see now that the output window that just now you saw, the output window that just now I asked you to minimize will open up. You can open this bigger, maximize it, and you can see that it tells you frequency male 191, female 109, total 300. Is this correct? Yes, we had total 300 respondents. So from the 300 respondents, SPSS tells us there is 191 male and 109 female. How does it know it? It knows from the categorization that we created earlier. Then this is the chart. What is your gender? Okay, so you can do the same thing with the next question. So let's say the second question is about age, right? We already have the categories for age. You can do the same thing, minimize this, go to your analyze, descriptive, frequency, and I will now select, let's say, age, okay, right? And click OK. And then if you click big, you can see that I have all these ages who participated in my research. 20, those who are 20 is 6, 21, and so on. So I have all their age. And here I see the distribution of everyone according to their age. With just 2 clicks, and I get all this information. Right, so that's why SPSS makes it a lot more easier to analyze data. It is a statistical software that makes it easier to analyze your data. So far, so good, everybody? So can you try to do the same now with the other demographic questions? Thanks, Andy. Yeah, Zua, you are back. Now try, good, Saikwan. Can you try now with the other questions? So after age, we have nationality. Okay, so try to do the descriptive statistics. How can we use it with our research? What do you mean? Because you will do your chapter 4 next semester. When you do your chapter 4, the first part of your chapter 4 is descriptive statistics. You will describe who participated in your research, how many male, how many female, what was their background, education, and so on. So the first half of your chapter 4 will have descriptive statistics. So that's where this will come in. You will use this analysis to get the results to include it into your chapter 4. Okay, so let's try the third one, nationality, income, education level, and so on. So same thing, go back to your research, analyze, descriptive, and actually you can also choose a few at the same time, right? For example, you can choose nationality, income, education level. You can do all of them together. How often, how many hours? Okay, you can all do all of this together at the same time, and then you will get all the result here. So you can see that this one is nationality. So nationality, you can find people from different country. This is the income. Remember just now we categorized the income according to these 5 categories. You can see how many people fall under different categories. You see the total. If you see the total 300, that means it's correct. You have everybody, there is no missing data. Highest education level. You can also see the education level is there. How often you use the internet. Next question, how many hours you spend. You can see most people use the internet between 1 to 4 hours in this research, 123. And then this is all their bar chart because just now we selected bar chart. Okay. So this is how you will use it for your research. You have all this result, you can include all this result into your chapter 4. Yes, you will do a survey. When you do your survey, you will get the result. When you get the result, how do you analyze the result? This is how you analyze the result. Okay, this is how you know what you get from the survey. Because when you do the survey, you will get the Sakib, to answer your question. When you do the survey, you will get one respondent at a time. You don't get everybody together in one Excel sheet. But once you collect everybody together, then you will have to analyze it together. Wan Ying, sir, will we have a workshop access to this workshop recording? Yes, I will share it in the link. How long will the trial SPSS last? You have to ask IBM. I think it's 2 weeks. Do we have to pay? Yes, you will have to pay, but you should not pay because you are a student and we have this SPSS given to students, which you can install according to the instruction given to you and use the VPN to access. So don't have to pay. You are a student, so this is given to you. Sai Kwang, after you done your survey, you will get the respondents' detail, the answers. Then we use this to analyze the data for chapter 4 and 5. Yes, Sai Kwang, you're right. Mainly for chapter 4. Right? The survey data will give us the data for our reporting in our chapter 4. So in order for you to see the bigger picture, I recommend you to, thank you, Sai Kwang, for answering on my behalf. You can, Sakib, and also for everyone's knowledge, if you want to see how it actually happens in chapter 4, you can see the sample PCs from MNU library. Yeah? You can see how the previous FYP students have done the chapter 4. Then you will see the big picture of how they actually get the result. Okay, everybody. So I think this is good enough for today. We have a few things we wanted to do, but because we spent a lot of time about talking about how to insert questionnaire into SPSS, so it took a lot of time. So we have done number 1 today, which is fine. For the next class next week, we can do the normality test and reliability test. I think we can even do all in the next class because the most difficult part is the beginning of knowing how to do your descriptive statistics, how to do your variable view and data view. So this takes more time, all right? So we will continue with our number 2 and 3 and so on. We will see how it goes in the next class as well. No, there's no class on Tuesday because our classes are all completed, Sakit. You have not been attending class, so you should view the recorded lectures from the last week so you will know our arrangement. Okay, so our class will be on Friday like this next week where we will do part 2 for our SPSS workshop. We will continue with part 2. Okay, so meanwhile, since you have no, there's no class on Tuesday as well. But anyway, it's good to wake up early whether got class or not. All right, okay. So that's about it, guys, for today. So stay tuned for continuation of SPSS, but you don't have to wait for the class to try. You have these slides, and you can see that if you follow these slides, you can already do the second test. All right, the second one. The second one is normality test. So I already give you the slides, and it shows you step by step how to do the normality test as well. And so don't have to wait. You can play around with this data set. You have the data set. So try to do this on your own. Okay. So that's about it for today. And all the best to you all. I will see you again for continuation for part 2 of SPSS next Friday, same time, same place. Okay, so see you again. Have a good weekend. See you all next Friday. Bye for now.